Hey guys, C-Man235, and I am really late in recording this. I've been kind of busy. The last bit I'm going to talk about is the TV shows. Just seasons of TV shows I saw and what I thought of them, quick thoughts essentially. Hopefully this video won't be as long, though I do have some opinions to go over. And there's actually a lot more TV shows than I usually watch. I've actually watched a lot more TV, not necessarily TV itself, but TV shows like, online or Netflix or anime on streaming sites or Toonami or something like that. Stuff like that. There's a lot more TV stuff than there is video game and movies. And the last time movies definitely had the majority, definitely won out. So with that said, let's actually go over this. But the first thing, actually, before I actually get to the TV shows, I do have one more movie I want to talk about. And I neglected to mention it mostly because I hadn't watched it until now. By now I mean like 2 weeks ago. Mad Max Fury Road, which is a great action movie. I can't really say anything more than that. I haven't seen any of the other Mad Max movies. I know I'm missing out apparently on the first and second one. Third one has a lot of mixed reactions, but I think people still classify it as okay at the very least. Regardless of such though, with Mad Max Fury Road, it was a very well done action movie. It was freaking nuts, but it's Mad Max. What do you expect? I really enjoyed it. That's really all I can say about it. Is it's pretty much one long action sequence with a lot of really crazy characters, but it works and it's entertaining as hell. So I can't really say anything more that hasn't already been said about the movie. I just felt I'd get that out of the way because I saw it now. Now on with the TV shows. Steven Universe and season 1 and 2. Now, I actually recently got into Steven Universe this year, actually, early on this year, mostly because I've heard good things about it, and its second season was airing, so I figured I didn't start there, but okay, technically I did, but I watched all of season 1 first, just to kind of, because I had time to kill, so I watched season 1, I sort of binged a few episodes from time to time. And I pretty much caught up on season 1 due to reruns and stuff airing on Cartoon Network on my DVR, and when I had the time I just sit through some of them. I do enjoy Steven Universe. I enjoy the characters, I enjoy the character development. Steven's not an annoying kid like annoying kids usually are. In fact, Steven to me is one of the best child characters, and Mysterious Mr. Enter, and I know he's a very controversial YouTuber, but I personally like his videos, and he summed up Steven's character really well. He is one of the best written kid characters. He can screw up like kids do, but that's because he's a kid. He acts like an actual kid, and he's not annoying, and he's not a constant screw up. He's not so much of a screw up to where you wonder why everyone hangs out with him, He's not like that character. No, he feels real. Like a real kid, and that's because the writers, in particular the creator of the series, Rebecca Sugar, written him, sort of compared Steven to the kid that she has, and was writing him, Steven based on that, which I felt was a brilliant move, and of course the other characters are really fun as well. I like the world building, I like, the stories are usually pretty good, and it's usually pretty entertaining. And season 2 is pretty much more of that, essentially, I mean, yeah, it's continuing the story, obviously, Steven's grown a lot, all the characters have grown a lot, but essentially it's continuing the story. Really, anything I could say about season 1, anything I could praise about season 1 just carries over to season 2, it just carries over. It's continuing the story. There's really nothing more I can say. But that's not a bad thing, because if it's more good things, then why should I say anything bad about it? I do like that they are expanding the universe a lot more. And now we get to the next thing is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Season 3 and 4. I finally caught up on Season 4 finally. I don't know why new episodes haven't been showing up. I guess the show's on hiatus again. Damn it, Nick. But I'm not sure. Maybe my DVR just stopped recording them because Comcast is a piece of shit. But with that said, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is still a good show. I have a few issues with it though. With these seasons, it sort of had a problem. Season 1 and 2 kinda had this issue, but it was a little less apparent in those than it is in Season 3. Then again, I haven't seen Season 1 in a while, so maybe I just have to go back to it. But with Season 3 and 4, filler tends to come at the worst times. Now, I don't mind filler as long as it's A, entertaining, B, is used to develop the characters in some form, and C, comes at a point where it feels natural to have a filler episode. For example, after a really, really big thing, like a season finale or something like that, I can understand why they would make a couple episodes of fillers, just sort of lighten the mood if something really bad happens or something really dark happens. I can understand filler here and there. Sometimes it needs to happen. You know, give us a little bit of a breather. Not to mention, it's also a good way to develop characters. I mean, Ghost in the Shell did that. I mean, they had half of the first season was filler episodes, but they were spent using to focus on the characters that weren't being focused on in the main arc. So I have no problem with it as long as they do something like that. But Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles does that for the most part pretty well. My problem is the pacing of the seasons is off. For some weird reason, they keep after one big episode that takes the plot further, they sort of pull a Kingdom Hearts where they stop the plot, just completely halt it, and just sort of do other things. And then after like 2 or 3 episodes, or okay, maybe that's a bit of an exaggeration, maybe 2 or 3 or 1 episode even, they start continuing the plot forward. It's like, I understand we need breaks, but come on, like, stop stalling the plot. It's like, come on, just keep moving forward. You know, just keep going with the main plot. You have something to do. You have an objective. You have a goal. Go do it. I understand that some people need a break every now and then, and that's fine. And, you know, some episodes did do that well in Season 3, but it was just, they keep going off track of the main storyline, and it's bugging the hell out of me. And I usually don't get bugged by that, because I understand filler episodes can be used really effectively, but there's a point where if you use too many filler episodes, then, or at least don't pace them out well, it becomes really jarring, and it makes the plot seem a little more like a mess, even though it really shouldn't be. The plot itself is not written badly either. The filler episodes are not really bad either. It's just that they're not in the correct order they should be. At least I don't feel they are. But to be fair, and that is their fault, because it's not Nickelodeon airing them out of order. No, they're not doing that. If they did that, that would be really bad. But it's bothering the hell out of me, and I'm really hoping they kind of stop it with Season 4. Other than that, the season was solid. It had a few episodes that were kind of but most of the episodes were pretty good. I especially like the finale in particular was fucking phenomenal. I will say that the finale, once again, like, goddamn, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, they always know how to deliver a finale. You know, Season 1's finale was fairly predictable, because I knew that Karai was Splinter's daughter. It was kind of obvious. With that said, though, Season 2 had a great finale, and Season 3, I was hoping the finale would live up to Season 2. It tiled stuff on top of that, of Season 2's ending. It blew Season 2's finale out of the water, and that's impressive considering how great that finale was. It's really impressive what they were able to do. I'm not going to spoil what happened. Well, actually, no, I am going to spoil what happens because I have to talk about something that I'm going to rant about in Season 4. They blow up the Earth. I'm not going to explain how they do that. You can just go watch the finale for yourself. But the Triceratons invade and they blow up the Earth. And it leads into one of my complaints with Season 4, you know. But I recommend watching the finale for yourself because it's awesome. You know, but with that said, though, what really pissed me off about Season 4 is the season opener. Not because it was bad, but because there was a ginormous freaking cop-out. You know how in Kingdom Hearts 2, a game I've been playing recently, I just finished it recently, I kicked Sephiroth's ass after he kicked mine like 5 times, fuck you Sephiroth, but I've been playing Kingdom Hearts recently. You know how in the first game we beat the main villain Ansem the Wise, but then we found out it wasn't really Ansem, it was a heartless being, you know, that called himself Ansem? You know how that was a humongous fucking cop-out? It's even worse than that. God damn it. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Season 4 opens with the Fugitoid saving the Turtles. Well, actually, that was in the season finale. But Season 4 opens with them wondering how they're going to get Earth back, how they're going to fight off the Triceratons, how they're going to do all of this stuff, and that's all fine and dandy. Then, the Fugitoid puts them back in time a couple weeks before it happened, I believe, or a month or two before it happens, or something like that. So in other words, they traveled back in time to where the Earth was never destroyed. What a fucking cop-out. You blew up the Earth, and you suddenly get it back by the start of the season. It's like, I mean, I understand they still have to save it. I understand we're not completely out of the woods. I get that. But that still sucks, man. That's just, come on. You had such a great season finale, and then the biggest event that happened in that finale, gone. And I have no problem with traveling back in time in order to save the Earth. That's not in itself is not a bad idea. What I think they should have done, and I know I shouldn't be rewriting what the writers already done, I should critique the thing I got, but what I really think would have made it better is if the season opened with them trying to get Earth back by taking some sort of time machine that the Fugitoid built and was stolen by the Triceratons, or was built by the Utroms or something and was stolen by the Triceratons, or maybe the Triceratons just made it. I don't know. Something. You could have had something with like some sort of time machine to get Earth back, and then try and find a way to, like, I don't know. That I feel there could have been a better way to open that season. But whatever, you know, it didn't bother me for too long. Actually, no, it did. I'm not gonna lie. It actually really made me hate that episode at first. Now I'm cool with it. It's not a bad episode. It's just that moment really rubbed me the wrong way. You know. But with that said, though, you know, looking at the rest of the season as a whole, it's been pretty good so far. The filler has gotten a lot better because while there is still filler, they at least pace it out a little better, and they are still focusing on the plot. Some of the more recent episodes that I've seen have focused on the plot, and we're only like, I think, 6 or 7 episodes in. We've had at least more plot episodes than filler episodes. Thank you. And they're paced well, too. So, you know what? Thank you. Thank you. You've learned your lesson, I hope. Hopefully the rest of the season goes well. With that said, though, I am looking forward to it. They're finally getting some callbacks to the 2003 series, which is the series I grew up with. 80s series be damned. I do like the 80s series, though. It's just that I grew up with the 2003 series. That's what made me a Turtles fan, so I'm glad they're actually referencing that a little more with, you know, like I know there were the characters from the 2003 series also appeared in the comics, but it's just nice to see little minor references. And David Tennant as the Fugitoid is awesome. You know, David Tennant. I've seen David Tennant in a lot of things. Like seriously, he's in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. He was the Doctor from Doctor Who back when it was actually good, before it went to shit. And then he's also Kilgrave in Jessica Jones, another series I'll be talking about. David Tennant seems to be on the list twice for right now. So, but yeah, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Few bumps in the road aside, it is still pretty good. It hasn't gotten to the point where it hasn't got to the point where it's a guilty pleasure to watch at all. It's still pretty good. And I say that because there's been a lot of people complaining about it, and I can understand their complaints. I don't think it's a bad show at all, but I do think it has some problems, and hopefully this season seems to be working them out. Hopefully it continues with that. It's still very early to tell, but hopefully it continues. Star Wars Rebels Season 2 has been very good so far. It has continued the story. We see more of the universe, of the Star Wars universe. We actually see more of the Rebel Alliance, and that's really, really cool. I'm really enjoying what Star Wars Rebels Season 2 has to offer, and that's really all I can say. You know, the season really hasn't ended. Maybe that's why I'm kind of like, I can't really say much about it. Like, we're only halfway into it, and I kind of want to see what happens more before I talk about it in full depth, which will probably be at the end of this year, when I do a 2016 year review. Hopefully, it won't take as long as this one did. But, Season 2 is really good, you know? They fixed the problem where the development seems very rushed, because that was one of my problems with Season 1, is that the development of the characters in the episodes seemed a little forced at points. Like, there was one episode, Path of the Jedi, which is a good episode, but it gets to the point where at one point, Ezra is talking with Yoda, I think, and it was really cool they brought Frank Oz back for Yoda as well. But Ezra Yoda asked Ezra why he wants to be a Jedi. At first he says he wants revenge on the Empire, but then, you know, Yoda says, really, do you think vengeance will solve anything? He's like, no, I want to protect the people I care about. I've seen the rebels protect. And I get what he's saying, and that is a good lesson, but at the same time, sort of changed his tune a little too quickly. I mean, I understand, like, I understand you have 30 minutes, or 22 rather, not counting commercials. Seemed a little forced. The development seemed a little forced at points, and that's what I think they've been doing a lot better with Season 2. Other than that, it's still just as good as it was before, so it's awesome that they brought James Earl Jones back as Darth Vader, though. Awesome. Love that. I wonder if they'll bring any other Star Wars characters in and bring their voice actors in. The next show is Daredevil and Jessica Jones, and I'll be talking about these two because they're the Marvel series of this year that everyone's been talking about for good reason. Daredevil and Jessica Jones Season 1, both seasons are phenomenal. In fact, I'd argue they're better than the movies themselves. Yeah, even better than Avengers 2, Captain America Winter Soldier, Iron Man, all those movies be damned. I think those two are the best things the Marvel Cinematic Universe has to offer. Those are the best things. Better than Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., better than Agent Carter, better than Captain America Winter Soldier. Don't get me wrong, I love all of those things. I love what Marvel's been doing, most of the time. I love what Marvel's been doing with the cinematic universe as of lately, but to me, Jessica Jones and Daredevil are the fucking pinnacle, because these shows are incredibly well written, have very, very intense stories, and they're a lot darker than, handling much heavier subject matter than other parts of the MCU. And I think that's what I like about them. Not just because they're darker, but more like, how do I put this? I don't really know how to put it. It's like, I guess you could say it's more intense than the rest of the stuff in the MCU. You know, the situations here are all very, very intense. And I think the reason why I say that is mostly, it's hard to really say about it. Honestly, I think it's hard for me to really grasp why the series are good. Like, I know why they're good, it's just hard for me to put it into words. But see, all I can really say is just see the series. They're on Netflix, so you can see them, you know, as long as you pay the monthly fee for Netflix, which I don't think is that much. See them on Netflix because they are phenomenal. They're also pretty short. And I know it's like hour-long episodes, but you get like, it's only like 13 episodes, so it's not as long as other shows usually tend to go on. Daredevil's getting a second season as well, which is what I'm really looking forward to in the MCU so far. But yeah, Daredevil was phenomenal. Daredevil is a phenomenal crime drama. I loved Fisk. I thought he was a very, very well done villain, well written villain. This man is human. He's a monster at the same time. You can tell he's definitely not completely right in the head at all, but you can still sense that he's human, and you actually learn a lot about him, and you see how Daredevil and him really aren't so different in a lot of ways, which I like. But of course, I agree with what random cut there. Of course, I'm going to side with Daredevil because I believe that his morality is more in the right. But, you know, still, like, you really sympathize with Fisk in what he goes through in that series. And that is very impressive. And to me, actually, one other thing, is it sad that the villains in the TV shows are actually, even counting Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., are better than the MCU movies? How many villains have we had in the MCU that have been good? We have Ultron, we have Loki, and I think that's about it. I mean, I enjoy a few of the other villains, but I don't enjoy them, like, I don't think any of them are phenomenal, except for Loki and Ultron. Those are, like, the only two phenomenal villains I think that the MCU really has. It's like, and that's one thing that the TV shows fix, because Fisk is a very, very, very human villain, I guess you could say. I don't really know how I would put that into words either, but you just gotta see the show for yourself and you'll see what I mean. As for Kilgrave, he's a freaking monster. I mean, he has human moments too, but he's pretty much complete psychopath. He is a dirty, rotten piece of shit. That is what he is. And we love him for it. David Tennant is just so deliciously entertaining, and it makes you hate yourself because you love the guy so much. You don't, you love a freaking monster that much. It makes you hate yourself. It's just, David Tennant did a phenomenal job as Kilgrave in Jessica Jones. And speaking of Jessica Jones, that is also an amazing series. Tackling a lot of very, very heavy subject matter, but doing it in a way that's respectful. That's what I really like about Jessica Jones. And, you know, Jessica Jones is a good psychological drama. Daredevil is a good crime drama. So you got two series right there. As for, to me, they've done just a phenomenal job with them both, and I'd highly recommend them. I cannot give them any higher recommendations. Like, if I had a scale of, if I had like Jeremy Johns' ratings system, I would give them both all spectaculars. Seriously, go watch them. Go watch them. Do it. Now. Stop the video. Watch it now if you're even watching. With that said though, yeah, just get two out of the way. Next up is DreamWorks Dragons Season 3, which is more of the same of what I've saw of DreamWorks Dragons. I really enjoy the How to Train Your Dragon franchise. I don't really think I've seen anything bad in it, which is incredible for a DreamWorks series. Usually there's something bad. Hopefully How to Train Your Dragon 3 will not be it. But I love How to Train Your Dragon 1, I love How to Train Your Dragon 2, and I like the TV series. It's obviously not as good as the movie, but, you know, still, it's still pretty good, and definitely the best DreamWorks series we've had. Though, for some people that might not be saying much. Kung Fu Panda's series was okay. But yeah, DreamWorks Dragons Season 3, it's pretty much, you know, it continues the story a little bit, but honestly, if you've seen the first two seasons, you're not really, you know, it's pretty much more of the same. I mean, they go to new places, they explore new worlds, they develop the characters a little further, and it's still just as fun as it was before, but regardless of such, it's, you know, it's more of what we've had before, and I'm fine with that as long as it's well done, and it's well done, so I have no complaints. The animation definitely got a buff when it went to Netflix. Fuck you, Cartoon Network. Transformers, Robots in the Sky. Oh, god damn it. What a fucking disappointment. To be fair, I haven't seen all of Season 1, but I've pretty much seen at least, what, 85% of it. I admit, I skipped out on a few episodes because the series is fucking boring. Like, I'm gonna be honest, it's really, really boring. And look, I understand Transformers Prime didn't have the best start either. I mean, they killed off a character and we were supposed to care about him, but we don't because we barely know any of these characters, at least from the context of this universe. I understand that the Transformers Prime took a while to get going too, but they didn't take an entire season. At the very least, with Season 1, it got good at least halfway through the first season, and it got even better with later seasons. Hopefully they'll do a better job with Season 2, I'm not sure, I don't really even care. I don't even know why they're still airing it. It's not even getting that great of views, honestly. I don't even think anyone gives a shit about the series. I don't at all. So I'm wondering why they're even bothering. But it's getting a second season. Optimus will be there. Maybe that'll fix it. Doubtful. But Robots in Disguise is... It's a kid's show. But not a good kid's show. It's just an average one. It's like Teen Titans before Masked. You know, the episode 9 of Season 1 where the show went from kid's show to very good kid's show, or you know, it went from that to that. It's sort of like what Teen Titans was before masks happened and the writers really got into their groove with the stories and Teen Titans. Transformers Robots in Disguise is not necessarily bad. I just don't feel like it. It's like, you know, better example. It's like Avengers Assemble. It's not trying at all. It's just an average, run-of-the-mill kid show. And, okay, fine, but that's not interesting. And I wouldn't have a problem with this with Transformers, except for the fact that we had Transformers Prime. This is a sequel to Transformers Prime. I'm comparing it to Transformers Prime, not because it's Transformers, and I want to see it do well. No, it's because Transformers Prime, this is a direct, well, not a direct, but this is a sequel to Transformers Prime. This is a fucking sequel. I understand that you have a massive shoes to fill. My problem is that they didn't even look like they tried to fill anything. They didn't try at all. And that's my biggest gripe with it. Season 2, they say they're gonna bring more characters from Transformers Prime. I really hope they didn't change my mind, but in the finale, I was expecting, okay, well, maybe the finale will be good. You know, they're bringing the Fallen in. Maybe they'll be good. No. No. It was just as average as the rest of the show. The animation also really isn't that great. I'm gonna be honest here. I mean, it's not bad. I mean, it's just, I don't like the style. I mean, I don't know. It's just a show that I'm more pissed about it trying to be a sequel to Prime. If this was its own thing, just a thing that isn't really connected to Prime in any way, then I probably wouldn't even have a problem with the series being an average kid show. You know, I would just take it as an average kid show and leave it, but it's a sequel to a show that has proven that it can be more than just the sum of its parts. It has proven that, and this is a sequel to that show. I'm not asking you to make it as good, but I would at least expect something from you. Legend of Korra tried, and you know, before you say sequel series, sequel series and spin-offs, they aren't gonna live to the original. Well, okay, yeah, but Legend of Korra tried, Batman Beyond tried, and those were sequels / spin-offs, and they tried, and they were good. I mean, yeah, Legend of Korra has problems, mostly with its production and how Nickelodeon mistreated it. But I still, even at its worst, I still found Legend of Korra had a sense of effort put into it. With what they could do anyway with the budget. Fuck you, Nickelodeon, for cutting the fucking budget of that show. I'm never gonna get over that. Never gonna get over them mistreating Korra. Piece of shit at Nickelodeon. So yeah, Robots in Disguise, it's painfully average, and that's my problem with it.